The universe. It is a canvas painted with fire and shadow, a stage for forces that defy human comprehension. We live on a small, fragile world, shielded from the true, raw power that governs the cosmos. But if you were to look out into the infinite black, past the familiar stars and galaxies, and ask the single, most profound question: what is the most powerful thing in the universe? The answer would not be simple. It would be a journey, a terrifying, exhilarating descent into the very nature of reality. For millennia, we have sought power. We have harnessed fire, split the atom, and built machines that dwarf the ancient wonders. But all of our collective might, every nuclear warhead, every lightning strike, every volcanic eruption, is less than a whisper against the cosmic roar. The universe operates on a scale of power that is not just larger than ours, but fundamentally different. It is a power that can erase planets, ignite galaxies, and tear the very fabric of space and time. In the next 1.5 hours, we are going to embark on a quest to find the ultimate source of this power. We will start with the familiar, the spectacular explosions that briefly outshine entire galaxies. And then we will descend into the exotic, the invisible forces that are quietly, relentlessly tearing the cosmos apart. We will explore the terrifying physics of black holes, the blinding fury of gamma-ray bursts, and the silent, all-encompassing might of the energy that permeates every cubic centimeter of existence. This is a story of scale, of force, and of the ultimate, humbling truth of our place in the cosmos. And if you are ready to have your mind expanded and your understanding of power redefined, then take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Cosmo Depth, and join our growing community of cosmic explorers. Your support is the fuel that keeps this journey going, and we have only just begun to scratch the surface of the universe's might. Our journey begins with the most spectacular, the most visible, and perhaps the most easily understood form of cosmic power: the explosion. Imagine a star, a colossal furnace that has burned for billions of years, finally reaching the end of its life. It is a moment of profound cosmic drama, a final, violent act of self-destruction known as a supernova. For a few brief weeks, this dying star will release more energy than our sun will emit over its entire 10 billion year lifespan. It is a power so immense that it can be seen across billions of light years, briefly outshining the entire galaxy it resides in. But not all supernovae are created equal. The power scale begins with the familiar Type 1a supernova, the thermonuclear explosion of a white dwarf star that has stolen too much mass from a companion. These are the standard candles of the universe, powerful enough to be used to measure cosmic distances. Yet, they are merely the opening act. To find true, raw power, we must look to the most massive stars, those that end their lives in a core collapse supernova. These stars, dozens of times the mass of our Sun, collapse under their own gravity, creating a shockwave that blasts the outer layers into space. This is the cosmic forge, the event that creates and scatters the heavy elements, the iron in your blood, the gold in your jewelry, across the universe. But even this pales in comparison to the most powerful stellar explosion ever theorized, the pair instability supernova. This is the cosmic equivalent of a star that simply cannot contain its own power. It occurs in stars so massive, between 150 and 250 times the mass of the Sun, that the temperature in their core becomes so extreme that gamma-ray photons spontaneously convert into electron-positron pairs. This sudden loss of internal pressure causes the star to collapse, but instead of forming a black hole, the collapse triggers a runaway thermonuclear explosion that completely obliterates the star. There is no remnant, no black hole, no neutron star. The star is simply gone, releasing an energy output that is orders of magnitude greater than a standard supernova. It is the ultimate act of cosmic self-immolation, a power so vast it can enrich an entire galaxy with heavy elements. However, these are explosions. They are fleeting, momentary bursts of power. To find a source of sustained, relentless power, we must look to the cosmic engine that drives the most luminous objects in the universe: the black hole. A black hole is not merely a vacuum cleaner of space, it is the most efficient energy generator known to physics. The power of a black hole doesn't come from the matter that falls in, but from the matter that orbits around it. This matter forms an accretion disk, a swirling vortex of gas and dust that is heated to hundreds of millions of degrees by friction and gravitational compression. As this matter spirals toward the event horizon, it releases gravitational potential energy. The efficiency of this process is staggering. Nuclear fusion, the process that powers our sun, converts less than 1% of mass into energy. A black hole's accretion disk, however, can convert up to 42% of the infalling mass into pure energy, primarily in the form of X-rays and gamma rays. This makes the black hole the most efficient engine in the universe, a cosmic power plant that dwarfs any star. The most powerful manifestation of this engine is the quasar. Quasars are the blazing hearts of young galaxies, powered by supermassive black holes millions to billions of times the mass of our Sun. A single quasar can outshine all the stars in its host galaxy combined, radiating energy equivalent to 1 trillion suns. This is not a momentary flash. This is a continuous, relentless torrent of power that can last for millions of years, shaping the evolution of the entire cosmos around it. But the black hole's power is not just in its light, it is also in its jets. Imagine a stream of plasma traveling at 99.995% the speed of light, blasting out from the poles of a supermassive black hole for millions of light years. These are the relativistic jets, and they are the most powerful collimated beams of energy in the universe. They are thought to be powered by the black hole's immense magnetic field, which acts like a cosmic slingshot, twisting and accelerating the plasma away from the accretion disk. The energy contained in these jets is enough to heat the intergalactic medium, preventing the formation of new stars in surrounding galaxies. A single jet can punch a hole through the gas of an entire galaxy cluster, fundamentally altering the fate of billions of stars. This is the power of a black hole, not just to consume, but to govern the cosmic landscape. Yet, even the steady, terrifying power of a quasar is eclipsed by the universe's most violent, short-lived event, the gamma-ray burst, GRB. A GRB is the universe's ultimate explosion, a cataclysm so powerful that it is often called the death cry of a massive star. They are thought to be caused by the collapse of a massive star into a black hole, or the merger of two neutron stars. For a few brief seconds, a gamma-ray burst can release more energy than the Sun will produce over its entire lifetime. The power of a GRB is not just in the total energy released, but in its concentration. The energy is focused into two narrow beams, traveling at the speed of light. If one of these beams were to sweep across our galaxy, even from billions of light years away, it could sterilize a planet. The energy flux is so intense that it is the most powerful electromagnetic event known to science. It is the ultimate expression of raw, destructive power, a cosmic bullet that can travel across the entire observable universe. We have now established the scale of power in the cosmos, moving from the spectacular to the sustained, and finally to the utterly catastrophic. But all of these phenomena, supernovae, quasars, and GRBS, are manifestations of matter and gravity. They are the power of things we can see, things we can measure, things we can ultimately understand through the laws of physics. But what if the most powerful thing in the universe is something we cannot see? Something that is not an object, but a force? This is where our journey takes a turn into the truly exotic, into the realm of the invisible, the silent, and the all-encompassing. We are talking about dark energy. Dark energy is the single most dominant component of the universe. It makes up approximately 68% Hz of the total energy density of the cosmos. It is not matter, it is not light, and it is not gravity as we know it. Its only known effect is to drive the accelerating expansion of the universe. Imagine the universe as a massive, expanding balloon. For billions of years after the Big Bang, the expansion was slowing down, held in check by the collective gravity of all the matter and dark matter within it. But about 9 billion years ago, something changed. The expansion started to speed up. The galaxies began to fly apart from each other at an ever-increasing rate. The force responsible for this acceleration is dark energy. The power of dark energy is in its pervasiveness. It is not concentrated in a star or a black hole. It is woven into the very fabric of space itself. Every cubic centimeter of empty space contains a tiny, intrinsic amount of this energy. And here is the terrifying part. As the universe expands, more space is created, and with it, more dark energy. This is a power that is not conserved. It is a power that is growing. The concept of dark energy is often linked to vacuum energy, the energy of empty space predicted by quantum mechanics. Quantum field theory suggests that even a perfect vacuum is not truly empty, but is instead a bubbling, seething sea of virtual particles constantly popping into and out of existence. This inherent energy of the vacuum should exert a repulsive force, acting exactly like dark energy. However, there is a problem, a colossal, embarrassing problem, known as the cosmological constant problem. When physicists calculate the expected density of this vacuum energy, the number they get is 1 × 10 to the power of 120 times larger than the observed density of dark energy. This is the largest discrepancy between theory and observation in the history of science. It is a difference so vast that it suggests our understanding of the universe, of quantum mechanics, and of power itself is fundamentally incomplete. But if we accept the observed reality, the power of dark energy is the ultimate, unstoppable force. It is a power that will eventually win the cosmic battle against gravity. The ultimate fate of the universe, according to one terrifying theory, is the Big Rip. If dark energy is not constant, but instead increases in strength over time, a hypothetical form called phantom energy, it will eventually become so powerful that it will overcome all other forces. First, It will tear apart galaxy clusters. Then, it will rip apart individual galaxies. Next, it will overcome the electromagnetic and strong nuclear forces, tearing apart stars and planets. Finally, in the last terrifying moments, it will tear apart atoms themselves, separating the fundamental particles of matter. The universe will end not in a fiery crunch, but in a silent, desolate, and complete rip of the very fabric of existence. This is the power of dark energy, the power to unmake reality. We have moved from the power of a single star to the power of the entire universe. But what if the most powerful thing is not a force, but a concept? What if the true source of power lies not in the infinite expanse of the cosmos, but in the tiny, complex space between our ears? This is the final, most profound candidate: consciousness. The idea that consciousness is a fundamental power in the universe is rooted in the most bizarre and counterintuitive branch of physics: quantum mechanics. At the quantum level, particles do not exist in a definite state. They exist in a superposition of all possible states simultaneously. An electron is not here or there, it is both here and there. This wave of possibility only collapses into a single, definite reality when it is observed or measured. This is the observer effect. While most physicists agree that the observer in this context is any form of interaction or measurement device, a radical interpretation suggests that conscious observation is the true catalyst. If this interpretation holds even a sliver of truth, it means that the act of looking, the act of being aware, is the most powerful force in the universe. It is the power to collapse possibility into reality. Imagine the power to choose which reality manifests from the infinite possibilities of the quantum foam. The power to turn a wave of potential into a particle of certainty. This is a power that is not measured in joules or ergs, but in meaning. It is the power that gives rise to all the other powers we have discussed. Without consciousness to observe the supernova, to measure the quasar, to theorize about dark energy, these phenomena are merely potential, a wave function of possibility. The ultimate power, then, is the power to define reality. Our journey has taken us from the spectacular death of a star to the silent expansion of the universe, and finally, to the mysterious power of the mind. We have seen that power is not a single thing, but a spectrum of forces, each one more humbling than the last. The supernova is the power of destruction. The quasar is the power of sustained creation. The gamma-ray burst is the power of concentration. Dark energy is the power of unmaking, and consciousness is the power of definition. But to truly satisfy the question, we must now dive deeper into each of these candidates, exploring the extreme physics, the mind-bending numbers, and the ultimate implications of each form of power. We must compare the raw energy of a GRB to the relentless force of dark energy, and ask which one truly deserves the title of the most powerful thing in the universe. Let us return to the realm of explosive power and look at the numbers. A standard supernova releases about 10 to the power 44 joules of energy. This is a number so vast it is meaningless to the human mind. To put it into perspective, the total energy consumption of all human civilization for an entire year is about 5 times 10 to the power of 20 joules. A supernova releases the energy of 1,000,000 trillion years of human civilization in a matter of weeks. Now, consider the gamma-ray burst. While the total energy released is comparable to a supernova, the key is the collimation. Because the energy is focused into two narrow beams, the luminosity, the energy emitted per second, is far greater. For a few seconds, a GRB can have a luminosity of 1 × 10⁻50 ergs per second, making it briefly the most luminous object in the universe. If a GRB were to occur in our galaxy, even 1,000 light-years away, the resulting radiation could strip the ozone layer from Earth, leading to a mass extinction event. This is the power of focused annihilation, but the power of a GRB is fleeting. It lasts for seconds. The power of a quasar, on the other hand, is sustained. The supermassive black hole at the heart of a quasar can consume the mass of 1,000 suns every year. The energy released by its accretion disk is equivalent to 100 billion watts, or 1,000,000,000,000 times the power of our sun. This power is not a flash. It is a continuous, multi-million-year-long inferno that shapes the evolution of the entire cosmos. Quasars are the ultimate example of gravitational power converted into light and heat. The black hole itself, the engine of the quasar, holds a terrifying, silent power. The concept of a Kugelblitz, a black hole formed not from matter, but from pure light, is a theoretical testament to the equivalence of mass and energy. While quantum physics suggests a Kugelblitz is impossible under foreseeable conditions, the theory itself proves that energy concentration is the ultimate key to gravitational power. If you could focus enough light into a small enough region, you could create a singularity. The black hole is the ultimate expression of E = mc², where energy is so concentrated that it warps the very geometry of space. Now, let us move from the power of objects to the power of fields. The Yards magnetar is a type of neutron star that possesses the most powerful magnetic field in the universe. Its magnetic field is so intense, up to 10 to the 15th Gauss, that it is 1,000 trillion times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. The power of a magnetar is demonstrated in a phenomenon called a giant flare. When the immense stress on the magnetar's crust causes a starquake, the resulting disruption in the magnetic field releases a burst of energy that travels across the galaxy. In 2004, a magnetar flare hit Earth, releasing more energy in 1/10 of a second than the Sun emits in 250,000 years. The energy was so powerful that it actually compressed the Earth's magnetosphere. This is the power of electromagnetism taken to its absolute extreme. But even the magnetar's field, which can rip the electrons from your atoms from 1,000 miles away, is a localized power. It is a drop in the cosmic ocean compared to the silent, all-encompassing power of dark energy. Dark energy is not a burst, not a jet, and not a field. It is the pressure of the vacuum. The key to understanding its power is the cosmological constant. Einstein introduced this term to his equations to keep the universe static. He later called it his biggest blunder when Edwin Hubble discovered the universe was expanding. But the discovery of accelerated expansion brought the constant back with a vengeance. The power of dark energy is its negative pressure. While normal matter and energy exert positive pressure, which resists gravity, dark energy exerts a negative pressure, which acts like anti-gravity. It is a repulsive force that is constant everywhere in space. Imagine a tug of war between gravity and dark energy. For the first half of the universe's life, gravity was winning, slowing the expansion. But as the universe expanded, matter and gravity became diluted. Dark energy, however, remained constant. It is the power of relentless consistency. It is the ultimate winner of the cosmic tug-of-war, a power that will eventually dominate the entire universe. The power of dark energy is the power of scale. It is the power of the entire universe expanding simultaneously. Every second, dark energy creates enough new space to push galaxies further apart, a process that is irreversible and accelerating. The cosmological constant problem is the ultimate testament to the power of dark energy. The discrepancy of 10 to the power of 120 between the theoretical vacuum energy and the observed dark energy is not just a mathematical error. It is a sign that there is a deep, fundamental physics at play that we do not yet grasp. It suggests that the universe has a mechanism, a filter, that is suppressing the true, terrifying power of the vacuum by an almost infinite factor. The power we observe is merely the residual of a force that should be infinitely stronger. This brings us back to the most profound and unsettling candidate: consciousness. If dark energy is the power of the vacuum, then consciousness is the power of meaning. The observer effect in quantum mechanics is the only known physical phenomenon where the act of measurement fundamentally alters the outcome. The classic double-slit experiment shows that particles behave like waves when unobserved, but instantly collapse into particles when observed. While the scientific consensus attributes this to the physical interaction of the measurement device, the philosophical implications are profound. If consciousness is not merely a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental property of the universe, a concept known as panpsychism, then the act of conscious observation is the only force that can bridge the gap between the quantum world of possibility and the classical world of reality. The power of consciousness is the power of choice. It is the power to select one reality from the infinite superposition of possibilities. It is the power to create the narrative of the universe. Consider the power of human will. It is the force that drove us to split the atom, to build the machines that measure the quasars, and to theorize about dark energy. It is the power that takes the raw, chaotic forces of the universe and gives them purpose. The ultimate power, then, is a synthesis of these concepts. It is the power that can be measured in joules, but also in meaning. The most powerful thing in the universe is not a single object, but the process of power itself. A continuous cycle of creation, destruction, and definition. The universe is built upon a hierarchy of power, each layer more profound than the last. At the first level lies localized power, the spectacular outbursts of creation and destruction. Supernovae, magnetar flares, and stellar mergers erupt across the cosmos, short-lived yet unimaginably intense. These cosmic fireworks forge the heavy elements that make planets, stars, and even life possible. Their might is measured in sheer luminosity, the brightness of existence itself. Beyond them dwell the sustained engines of power, quasars, black hole jets, and accretion disks. Unlike fleeting explosions, these are the long-lived dynamos that shape galaxies over eons. Their strength lies not just in raw force, but in efficiency and endurance, burning steadily as the architects of cosmic evolution. Yet, above these visible forces lies something far greater: the universal power of the invisible. dark energy and vacuum energy silently stretch the fabric of space itself, an unseen hand guiding the expansion and fate of the cosmos. Their power cannot be measured in brightness or time, but in scale and dominance. And finally, there exists a kind of power unlike any other, the defining power of consciousness. It is the awareness that observes, the will that gives meaning, the force that collapses possibility into reality. Through consciousness, the universe knows itself. This is the ultimate power, not of destruction or creation, but of definition. If we are forced to choose a single entity based on raw, unconstrained, and universal dominance, the title must go to dark energy. It is the force that makes up the majority of the universe, and it is the force that will ultimately tear everything apart. It is the power of infinity and inevitability. But if we choose based on potential and control, the answer shifts to the permeates, black hole. It is the most efficient engine, the ultimate converter of mass into energy, and the silent governor of the largest structures in the cosmos. And if we choose based on mystery and fundamental reality, the answer is consciousness. It is the only force that suggests the universe is not merely a collection of objects, but a process that requires an observer to manifest. The question, what is the most powerful thing in the universe, is not a scientific query with a single answer. It is a philosophical mirror that reflects our own understanding of power. Do we value the power to destroy, the power to sustain, the power to dominate, or the power to define? The universe, in its infinite complexity, offers all of these answers. And the most powerful thing of all may simply be the human mind's capacity to ask the question. We have established the terrifying scale of cosmic power, but to truly appreciate the difference between a spectacular event and a sustained engine, we must dissect the physics of the two most luminous phenomena, the gamma-ray burst and the quasar. Let us begin with the gamma-ray burst, the universe's ultimate explosion. The power of a GRB is not just in its total energy, but in its collimation, the focusing of that energy into a narrow beam. This is the key to its mind-bending luminosity. There are two primary mechanisms for GRBS, each a cataclysmic end to a stellar life. The first is the collapsar model, which accounts for the long-duration GRBs, those lasting more than 2 seconds. This occurs when a massive star, typically 20 to 30 times the mass of the Sun, exhausts its nuclear fuel and collapses. Unlike a standard supernova, the star is so massive that the core collapse does not stop at a neutron star. It continues directly into a black hole. As the black hole forms, the inner layers of the star fall inward, creating a swirling accretion disk. This disk, coupled with the black hole's magnetic field, launches a pair of ultra-relativistic jets, particles moving at 99.999% the speed of light, that bore through the collapsing star. When these jets finally punch through the stellar envelope, they release a blinding flash of gamma rays. This is the death cry of a star, a beacon of destruction visible across the entire observable universe. The second mechanism is the binary neutron star merger, which accounts for the short duration GRBs, those lasting less than 2 seconds. When two neutron stars, the ultra-dense remnants of smaller supernovae, spiral inward and collide, they merge to form either a heavier neutron star or, more often, a black hole. This merger event is a gravitational wave powerhouse, but it also ejects a massive amount of neutron-rich material, which immediately begins to decay, creating the heaviest elements in the universe, like gold and platinum. This event, known as a kilonova, is accompanied by a short, intense burst of gamma rays. The power here is a double-edged sword, a moment of ultimate destruction that is also the cosmic jeweler, forging the precious metals that make up our world. The energy released in a GRB is so concentrated that, for a few moments, it can outshine the entire universe. The sheer power of this focused beam is the ultimate expression of annihilation. If a GRB were to occur within a few thousand light years of Earth, the resulting radiation would be catastrophic, sterilizing the surface of our planet. This is the power of a cosmic bullet, a terrifying reminder of the violence that underpins the beauty of the cosmos. Now, let us turn to the quasar, the ultimate example of sustained power. A quasar is not an explosion. It is a cosmic engine that runs for millions of years. It is the active galactic nucleus, the supermassive black hole at the heart of a young galaxy, feeding at an astonishing rate. The power of a quasar is a testament to the efficiency of gravity. The black hole at the center of a quasar can have a mass of up to 10 billion times that of our Sun. As matter spirals into its accretion disk, it is heated to temperatures hotter than the surface of any star. This disk radiates energy equivalent to 1 trillion suns, making the quasar the most luminous continuous object in the universe. The power output of a quasar is so immense that it is the primary mechanism for feedback in galaxy evolution. The sheer radiation pressure from the quasar can push gas and dust out of the host galaxy, effectively shutting down star formation. This is the power of a cosmic thermostat, regulating the growth of its own galaxy. The difference between a GRB and a quasar is the difference between a lightning strike and a nuclear power plant. The GRB is the instantaneous, catastrophic release of energy, while the quasar is the continuous, relentless output that shapes the cosmic landscape over eons. Both are terrifying, but the quasar's power is the power of dominance and longevity. Yet, both of these phenomena, for all their spectacular power, are localized. They are events within the universe. To find the true, all-encompassing power, we must return to the invisible force that is tearing the cosmos apart. Dark energy. Dark energy is the ultimate power because it is the power of infinity. It is the power of the vacuum. The story of dark energy is inextricably linked to the history of the cosmological constant, lambda, one of the most mysterious and misunderstood ideas in all of physics. When Albert Einstein formulated his equations of general relativity in 1915, he found that the mathematics described a universe that could not remain static. Gravity, in his equations, would inevitably pull matter together, causing the cosmos to collapse or expand. Yet at the time, no one believed the universe was changing. The prevailing belief was that it was eternal and unchanging. To preserve this idea, Einstein introduced an additional term into his equations, the cosmological constant. It represented a uniform, repulsive energy filling all of space, counterbalancing gravity's attraction and holding the universe perfectly still. Then, in 1929, Edwin Hubble made a discovery that shattered the illusion of a static cosmos. Galaxies were moving away from each other, and the universe was expanding. Einstein reportedly called his introduction of the constant the biggest blunder of his life. removing it from his theory. Yet, decades later, this blunder would return as one of the most profound truths in cosmology. In 1998, two independent teams of astronomers studying distant Type Ia supernova made the shocking discovery that the expansion of the universe was not slowing down, as gravity should dictate. It was accelerating. The universe was being pushed apart by an unknown, repulsive force. The cosmological constant was resurrected, but this time it was not a fudge factor for a static universe. It was the mathematical description of dark energy. The power of dark energy is its negative pressure. In general relativity, gravity is caused by mass and energy, but also by pressure. Positive pressure increases gravity. Negative pressure creates a repulsive force, or anti-gravity. Dark energy is a uniform energy density that exerts a negative pressure equal to its energy density. This is what drives the acceleration. The most profound aspect of dark energy is its constant density. As the universe expands, the density of matter and radiation decreases, but the density of dark energy remains the same. This means that as space grows, the total amount of dark energy in the universe increases. This is a power that is not conserved. It is a power that is created by the expansion itself. This leads us to the cosmological constant problem. The most embarrassing and significant crisis in modern physics, quantum field theory, QFT, predicts that the vacuum of space is not empty, but is filled with virtual particles constantly popping into and out of existence. This is the vacuum energy, and it should contribute to the cosmological constant. When physicists calculate the expected energy density of this vacuum, the number they get is a staggering 10 to the 120 times larger than the observed density of dark energy. This discrepancy is not a small error. It is a fundamental breakdown in our understanding of the universe. It means that there must be some unknown, incredibly precise mechanism that is cancelling out the true, terrifying power of the vacuum energy by a factor of 100 million, trillion, 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 trillion. The power we observe as dark energy is merely the residual of a force that should be unimaginably stronger. The fact that the universe exists at all and hasn't been instantly ripped apart by the true vacuum energy is the greatest mystery in physics. The power of dark energy is the power of fine-tuning, a terrifying balance that allows reality to exist. The ultimate consequence of this power is the Big Rip. While the current data suggests dark energy is the constant lambda, a scenario where the dark energy density increases over time, a hypothetical form called phantom energy, leads to the Big Rip. In this scenario, the accelerating expansion becomes so extreme that the repulsive force of dark energy overcomes all other forces. First, it tears apart galaxy clusters, then galaxies, then solar systems, then planets, and finally, it overcomes the electromagnetic and strong nuclear forces, tearing apart atoms themselves. The universe ends not in a whimper, but in a silent, desolate, and complete unmaking of matter. Dark energy is the ultimate power because it is the only force that has the capacity to destroy the fundamental building blocks of reality. It is the power of inevitability, a force that will ultimately dominate the cosmos and dictate its final, terrifying fate. But is there a power that can control dark energy? Is there a force that can define the outcome of the Big Rip? This brings us to the final, most profound candidate, the power that exists not in the stars, but in the space between our ears. Consciousness. We have traversed the cosmic landscape from the instantaneous fury of the gamma-ray burst to the relentless, silent expansion of dark energy. We have measured power in joules, in watts, and in the sheer scale of cosmic destruction. But now we must turn inward to the most mysterious and unsettling candidate for the most powerful thing in the universe: consciousness. The idea that consciousness holds a fundamental power is not a spiritual notion. It is a direct consequence of the most successful yet most bizarre theory in all of science: quantum mechanics. At the heart of quantum mechanics lies the measurement problem, the point where the strange, probabilistic quantum world meets our familiar, definite classical world. Before a quantum particle is measured, it exists in a superposition, a cloud of all possible states simultaneously. It is both here and there, spinning up and spinning down. The act of measurement, the act of observation, instantly forces this cloud of possibility to collapse into a single, definite reality. While the orthodox Copenhagen interpretation states that the collapse is triggered by the physical interaction of the measurement device, the philosophical implications of the word observer have led to a radical, mind-bending hypothesis. Consciousness causes collapse. If this hypothesis is true, even in a subtle way, it means that the ultimate power in the universe is the power to define reality. It means that the universe exists in a state of infinite potential until a conscious mind observes it, thereby selecting one specific outcome from the quantum foam. Imagine the universe as a vast, unwritten symphony. The supernova, the quasar, the black hole, they are all merely notes on the page, existing in a state of potential. It is the conscious mind that reads the music, that collapses the wave function, and that brings the symphony into existence. The power of consciousness is the power of actualization. This concept is not limited to the subatomic world. It extends to the very nature of the universe. The anthropic principle suggests that the universe's fundamental constants, the strength of gravity, the mass of the electron, the value of dark energy, are so perfectly fine-tuned to allow for the existence of life that it seems almost impossible to be a coincidence. The power of consciousness in this view is the power to demand a universe that can support its own existence. The ultimate expression of this power is the concept of the self-observing universe. If the universe began as a quantum fluctuation, a state of pure potential, then it could not fully exist until a conscious observer evolved within it to collapse its wave function. The universe, in a sense, had to create us to become real. The power of consciousness is the power of cosmic self-awareness. The universe looking back at itself and saying, "I am." This is a power that cannot be measured in joules. It is measured in meaning, purpose, and the sheer audacity of existence. It is the power that gives context to all the other forces we have discussed. If we define power as raw, brute force, and universal dominance, the answer is unequivocally dark energy. It is the force that will ultimately tear apart every star, every black hole, and every atom. It is the ultimate victor in the cosmic war. But if we define power as the fundamental capacity to shape and define reality, the answer is consciousness. It is the power that allows the universe to be observed, to be understood, and to be questioned. It is the power that gives the universe its narrative. The most powerful thing in the universe is not a single object or a single force. It is the relationship between the two. The universe is a terrifying, beautiful, and ultimately meaningless expanse of energy and matter, governed by the brute force of dark energy. But it is the tiny, fragile spark of consciousness that gives it meaning. It is the power of the mind that can look at the infinite, terrifying power of the cosmos and ask, why? The ultimate power is the power to understand the power. The supernova is a fleeting moment. The quasar is a long reign. Dark energy is the inevitable end. But the power of the mind, the power of cosmo-depth, is the power to transcend. The end, to understand the forces that govern our existence and to find meaning in the face of the infinite. This is the true power of the universe, the power to create a mind capable of asking the question. The journey ends not with a single answer, but with a profound realization. The power we seek is not out there, but within the very act of seeking. The most powerful thing in the universe is the human mind's capacity for wonder and comprehension. This is cosmo-depth, and we will continue to explore the deepest mysteries of the universe. Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary journey. If this story has changed the way you think about power, please like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Cosmo-Depth. Your support ensures that we can continue to bring you the most in-depth, professional, and compelling scientific storytelling on the internet. We'll see you on the next cosmic journey.